Dear incoming freshmen, college isn't easy, but of all the things that I personally struggled with the most, it's been time management. So I'm going to share how I overcame it by showing you a day in the life of a college student. On our schedule today, we have breakfast at the Union, advanced algebra, an interview with my roommate Sierra, homework time, band class, and a band concert in the evening. We will also talk with our success coaches here on campus over a virtual Zoom call, and I'll ask for advice on time management. Alright, good morning, you guys. It is currently 9 a.m. on a Wednesday. I just parked in the 15-minute parking because otherwise we have to park all the way over there. And I'm not walking that far because I don't have time for that, you know? So if you park in the 15-minute parking, you have to take it under 15 minutes, otherwise the campus police will catch you. And if you take less than 15 minutes, you have more time for the rest of your day. So we're about to go into the Union and get some breakfast. I always like to go to the bagel shop because it's the closest and it's the best. UWGB is an entirely walk-based campus, meaning that there are more sidewalks than roads. So the parking lots are not close to the buildings whatsoever. Alright, so it's currently 9:10. I just got my bagel. I pulled into the parking lot for my first class, and that is where I'm going to eat. Alright, it is now 9:15, and I'm going to be heading into my math class for the day. If possible, it is most efficient to drive your car to the closest parking lot and then use a scooter or a bike to get to the building. Alright, now it is 10:40. My class got done early, and now we are going to do an interview with my roommate Sierra. Okay, what have you learned these past 2 semesters from managing your time?
That you should probably do your work right away, otherwise it's not going to get done and you're going to keep procrastinating until last minute.
What are your biggest obstacles with time management?
Normally, when there's a class I don't really like or the project we're doing I don't care for, you procrastinate until the very last minute.
How much time do you dedicate to homework per class?
I don't really dedicate so many minutes or hours for a class. I normally have one class on Tuesdays, and the rest of the day I do sit and do homework, and then I don't have classes on Fridays, so I do homework those days. It doesn't really have a set time, just normally till I finish most of it.
Do you do homework on the weekends?
I only do homework on the weekends if, I procrastinate on something and it's last minute and it's due Monday.
What advice do you have for incoming freshmen for managing their time?
Get your work done right away. Don't procrastinate. Otherwise, you end up with worse grades than you want. And that's about it.
All right, thank you so much. So now it is time for homework, where I like to write on sticky notes what I all need to do individually, and then I stick it up on my desk so that as I'm doing them, I can take them off, and it's really rewarding to see the fact that there's no more sticky notes on my desk anymore. So I only ended up getting one homework assignment done before I needed to go to my band class at 4 o'clock. The music you are hearing in the background of this video is from my concert later that night. Because we had a band concert later that night, we ended up getting to practice in the Widener Center. After class, I went back to the Union to get some lunch. Now it is time for an interview with one of our UWGB success coaches.
Biggest obstacle for time management?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest obstacle is procrastination. So we'll have a planner, and then they'll put together a study schedule or block off time. But then when it comes to that time to focus on something, it's really hard because, you're procrastinating. Mm-hmm. You feel like you have all this time to like if something's not due until Friday, you're not going to do it Tuesday. You're going to wait until Friday.
Right. Do you have any suggestions to get over procrastination?
Yeah, and that's actually your second question. So how can incoming freshmen get over this hurdle?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is just to figure out why you procrastinate. So maybe you're procrastinating because there's so many things going on in your dorm room, and that's where you study. So then maybe you have to go to the library, or you just have a hard time focusing because you're on your phone or you're distracted by other things. So maybe there's strategies to do something with your phone. Or another thing too is motivation. So maybe you're not as motivated to do the work. So then you need to focus on your goals. So what are your goals for the semester? So if you want to get like an A, well, if you're focusing on that, that's probably your motivation, and hopefully that can motivate you to do your homework or get whatever you need to take care of, get it done.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. The third question was how much time should students dedicate to homework per class? I think at GB Welcome, we always give these suggestions to students that for every hour of class, there's 2 hours of studying. So if you have a 3-credit class, you should have 6 hours a week for that class. And then it all depends too, like if, let's say you really struggle with math, you're probably going to spend more time during the week to study for math. If you are really good in a subject, so maybe math was something you're really great at, then maybe you don't spend the 6 hours that you need per week. And then also it kind of varies too with, let's say you have an exam coming up for that class, you're obviously going to study a little bit more, or maybe there's only like a small homework assignment this week. Maybe you'll study a little bit less. So it depends on how well you know the subject, but then also whether or not there's major assignments coming up for that too.
That was perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Your next question was what helped you the most? To time manage while you were in college? For me, what helped the most was going to the library. I always tried. When I first started my first semester, I was constantly just studying in my dorm room, and I was distracted quite a bit. But once I started getting the routine of going to the library, that really helped me out because you're there, you can't be too loud, and you're just kind of focused on doing one thing, which is getting your stuff done. And then also having like an accountability person. So I always studied with somebody, and that person usually it was a classmate or a friend, but they were also focused too. So it wasn't like we went together to the library and we're just kind of talking about things. We were focused on doing our work. And then if I got off track or I was distracted, my accountability partner would be like trying to get me on track. Would remind me to, hey, what are you trying to do during this time? And I would refocus. Or if my accountability partner, they're off track, I can kind of help them focus to stay back to get their work done too. So accountability partner and then going to the library was very, very helpful.
I didn't even think of another person to like an accountability partner. That is a really good idea.
Yeah, and if you don't have anybody that will or like if you're busy or they're busy at that time that you're studying, you can always what I did was I would phone a friend. I would just call a friend and be like, hey, I'm going to study for 2 hours. I'm going to give you a call back in a couple hours and just let you know what I've finished or what I've completed during this time. So that kind of holds me accountable too if my friend wasn't able to study with me at that time, but I'm still kind of holding myself accountable. Yeah. I think, and your last question was any advice for incoming freshmen? So my advice to a lot of incoming freshmen is get support early and often. It's along with like time management. I think one of the hardest things for freshmen to do is reach out for that support. You're kind of used to being in high school where your teacher is always there or a counselor or somebody's always there to get kind of keep you on track. When you get in college, it's not that you don't have the support, but a lot of the responsibility falls on you. So if you don't get that support early and often, nobody's really aware that you need that help. So you really have to be proactive. Another thing is set your schedule early to get into a good routine of for the start of the semester. So set your schedule early, manage your time so you can kind of start building that routine, getting good habits. If you start off the semester on a rough spot and you're not really managing your time, you're probably going to keep that habit the rest of the semester and maybe the rest of your college career. So manage your time right away, set your schedule. And then I think the last thing I talked to a lot of freshmen about is just reflect on how you're doing. Reflect on what is working, what isn't working, and if the things you're doing is not working, get that help right away. It might just be something minor, but that minor issue might just be something that if you can get over it, you can be very successful. So, yeah, reflection is very important.
Thank you so much. This was so helpful. And now to finish off the night, I'm playing at my band concert. I got to play both trumpet and French horn at my concert.